So we got a question from Nitya. Nitya asks, hi John, good to see you. So good to see you live, thank you. Could you talk a little about the immigrant investor visas and how the process works for someone who is over 21? Okay, we'll talk briefly about it. There's essentially 2.5 types of immigrant investor programs, there's like 4, but 2 of them are halves. I mean, I'll go over the half ones really quick. There's the Entrepreneurial Parole program, which is, I don't think is really that good a program, but it's very limited number of people who have investors who are investing in them, really Silicon Valley kind of stuff, and they have professional investors that invest a lot of money. Potentially you get a parole for 2 years and they can work in the company. It's a program that's fairly new. President Obama started it, Trump shut it down, now they've reopened it. We don't really know how it's going to work out. It applies to a really limited number of people. It's not a very clean program in my opinion. There's this other program called the L1 Intracompany Transfer, and this is when someone works for a company overseas and they're transferred to the United States. The way this becomes an investor visa is because potentially the owner of that company overseas, who works for his company too, might invest and start a subsidiary branch, for example, or affiliate company in the U.S. and transfer themselves over. So it's kind of a investor kind of visa. But the 2 main ones that we call investor visas is the E2 visa and the EB5 visa. The EB5 visa is what leads to a green card, and that's if you invest. Right now it's like $500,000 to $1 million depending on what location you're investing. The price had gone up, there's a lawsuit, it went down, so we're still trying to figure out that the law on this stuff is really murky, and there's a lot of complexity, and I don't think it's a really good program because of how the execution of it really creates a lot of problems for people. But the EB5 program, if you have a lot of money to blow, you can give it a shot. It's going to take a long time potentially. It's not clear whether you'll keep a green card even once you get it. And then there's the E2 visa, and the E2 visa is for people from certain countries, from certain passports, and the country that issues that passport has a treaty with the United States that says, yeah, if citizens of our country come and invest in the United States, the United States will allow them to stay in the U.S. and operate that business. So it's an interesting visa, definitely something to look into if you have a passport of a country that allows it. And people always ask what's the minimum investment, and there is no minimum for it. It just has to be enough money to run that business that you're going to have properly. So I try to think about it like the show Shark Tank or something in the United States, where people come in with an idea or the business they started and they try to sell the idea to these investors. It's the same thing with a USCIS or consular officer for the E2 visa. They want to see that you're really going to be success. So if you're going to make a factory, a car factory manufacturing company, you might need billions of dollars. But if you're going to make a small restaurant in a rural area, you might need much less. So the amount just has to make sense with what you're doing and up to the interpretation of the officer adjudicating the case. So there's a lot of subjectiveness in there, but you want to be really prepared to be able to answer the question and show yeah, we've done all the preparation needed. You frankly have spent the money, and both the E2 and EB5, the money has to be at risk. So essentially you spent the money already, and you're gonna get the visa and come and operate. So that's something, there's a lot of risk involved with that, but sometimes no risk, no reward. Those are a general overview of the immigrant investor visas. I do E2s, not EB5s. But if you're serious about an E2, just reach out and we can have a consultation on that. But thank you for reaching out, Nitya, on LinkedIn. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this educational video. Also, you'll find our social media site has a lot more videos, images, and information about the U.S. immigration process. Please check those out on the various social media websites.